heavyweight.
I stand corrected. It was actually 4 takedowns by Stout. And so we move to heavyweight. Collin French is going to get the nod after they clean the mat for Ryder. The freshman still looking for his first duels victory. He's a freshman from Barnegat by the way of Southern Regional, 2-10 on the season. And for Princeton, we are expecting to see Sebastian Garibaldi make his way to the mat, and he'll be doing that in a moment. The junior's 13-6 on the season. He has seen time ranked in the media polls. And of the 6 losses, 5 against ranked opponents, 5-3 in duels. All 3 of his duels losses against top 10 wrestlers. So he is battle tested. He's now an upperclassman. He has found his way into the spot after the recent success of Matt Cover at heavyweight, having time in the NCAA tournament, and that's Garibaldi's goal this year.
Yeah, Garibaldi's tough, and obviously even when he was a younger, underclassman, he was just pushing the guys in the room, at heavyweight that were, the quote-unquote starters, and he's just grown and continued to get better every year, and it's been fun to watch him this year for sure.
Garibaldi did miss a little bit of time for injury, and Princeton, they've had to deal with quite a bit of that. Mark Anthony McGowan, who we'll see next at 125, he did not begin his Princeton career until Midlands. Got injured a bit in practice where he missed the West Virginia duel, but he's now back healthy. Ty Whelan missed some time, returned in the West Virginia duel. We don't see Blaine Berge today, but he's gotten his first 2 dual meets underway. He's been dealing with injury, and then Luke Stout, another captain along with Berge, came back on Sunday. It's obviously in any wrestling season a battle of attrition, but it's good to see Garibaldi healthy, and he's trying to get the first 3 points of the match here. Runs out of room, though.
And we talked a little bit about depth at the 184 weight class, but it's so important to have depth on a wrestling team because you never know what's going to happen. At any given point, you could be the starter in a wink of an eye. So it's really important for everybody that's on the team to just stay, ready to go. And you're seeing a lot of these next guys up coming out here and kind of being the starters for the Tigers. We'll see how they kind of do in this match today.
And it only helps this year, but for the future, as you mentioned, Garibaldi, he's had some time at heavyweight in duels last year when the Tigers were having their share of injuries at heavyweight, went 1-2 last year. And now he's the top guy at heavyweight. No score against the freshman Collin French. There's a stall warning against French. Well, this is the second matchup between a Princeton wrestler from New York. Mulhauser was from Central Square, Garibaldi from White Plains, and he was a 2021 state champion at heavyweight. And the fans on the Princeton side want another stall against French, but I mentioned French from Barnegat. It's not quite an intra-state rivalry among the wrestlers. Let's see what happens here. The pace a little bit slower than we've seen over the first 3 matches. We've had a pin, a tech fall, and then a 12-4 major decision. So a lot of bonus points over the first 3 matches. This one, though, can turn at any moment. And we'll see if there's points on the board here in short time as Garibaldi looks for a shot defended low by French. Fans on the Princeton side again trying to get the officials to think about the stall. Nothing's going to happen here, though, as Garibaldi ran out of time by maybe a second or 2 at the end there.
Yeah, I think on average, relative to other weight classes, maybe heavyweight's the less action-packed of the weight classes out of the 10, but you see Garibaldi getting the legs and putting himself out there, putting himself quote unquote in dangerous positions, but got a stall call there, and he seems to be pushing the pace so far this match.
And he gets a quick escape, not even 4 seconds into period number 2 to go up 1-0. So I mentioned it earlier, Ryder, where their struggles are at are the two lightest weights and the two heaviest weights between 125, 133, 197, and 285. And their 8 duels, excluding today, 4-28. And they're off to an 0-1 start after Zarowski suffered the tech fall. Garibaldi was looking for more, and there's a stall called against French. He'll get his second point, Sebastian Garibaldi.
If you can't score, you might as well try to get some stall calls out of it. We talk about controlling the center. We talk about shooting people out of bounds. Garibaldi's done a good job of that so far. We'll see if he's able to capitalize, with a takedown here. But French doing a good job in the hand fight, staying in the center here.
And that's if you're French, you got to think, hey, look, it's only 2-0 right now. Stick with it. Stay composed. Find your opening. Don't get impatient, especially when the guy's being the more aggressive in the action here. Garibaldi didn't get a full rip down against French. And this could very well be French's spot to keep. David Zuba's had an excellent career with Ryder at heavyweight, but he's wrestling unattached this year in the weight class. And again, anytime, whether it's injuries or you're opting for a red shirt, whether that's a tactical thing or how you project things moving forward in a starting lineup in future years. There's a lot of those things to do when you're a wrestling head coach, whether you're Joe Dubuque or John Hange. And the thing that makes it easy for these coaches is if everybody that hits the mat provides quality action.
And you see the Riders coaches going neutral all day long. They think he's got a shot at getting a takedown here. We'll see what happens, but anyone's game at this point in the third period.
And it is a 5-point lead in the team score for Ryder. Garibaldi turning on the Jets here, hasn't yet been given the 3. Now he does. And the question is, do you ride him a bit here, try to get some more points, or do you eventually cut him loose? Riding time is not a factor right now, so near fall points would be the biggest help to give Princeton extra points.
Garibaldi throwing that leg in right away. He's getting to work on top. Something I love to see, but we'll see if he's able to get a set of back points. Obviously, if the riding time does become a factor here, you might think about cutting him to try to get that extra takedown to make it a major decision.
I think here, Garibaldi, if he can try to get an extra point on a stall, that might help as well. But if he can't get anything here on this move, he may cut him loose as it approaches under a minute, and there goes the stall. So another point for Sebastian Garibaldi. He's earned 2 points on a stall. He has an escape and a takedown to be up 6-0.
And I think as it comes up to over a minute here, I think you got to think about cutting him. Just given where the match is at and how many bonus points that Ryder's had so far. Unless you can get a turn.
Might have had a chance there, and now he's not quite having it. Garibaldi's trying to cut French loose, and now he will. Quick on the re-attack. French defends and turns into 3 of his own. That's the risk you take if you're Garibaldi. And now all of a sudden, Collin French will try for a late comeback, but approaching short time. Riding time is not locked in per se, but French is going to have to cut Garibaldi loose. And he will at 7-4. Now the riding time point locked in, but that's not going to be anything but a decision in favor of Princeton's Sebastian Garibaldi, 8-4. You like the decision there by Garibaldi to go for it, and I think you got to like by French. He didn't win, but I think that's a moment the freshman can take to say, hey, things are moving forward here. I made a timely play to get 3 points at the end, as you see Garibaldi's takedown.
Yeah, obviously that's, quote-unquote a win for the team in that moment if you're